Hey everybody, it's the Last Robokai here, and it's time for another episode of Let's Play Fate Samurai Remnant. Last time we did a little bit of learning about Yui Shousetsu and all the shenanigans this individual is getting up to. Certainly found out they were quite loved, and we got attacked by some fellas with glowing eyeballs. So that should be very interesting. And joining me as always is Cool Guy.
Yo yo!
And today we're going to be dealing with the ley lines, because there is like an extra little game mode in here. It's really funny. When we first talked about this, and Cool Guy, you were like, oh hey, there's like, you know, that sounds like a thing for a turn-based strategy or whatever. Well, strap yourself in, because
we have a turn-based strategy game coming.
Kinda, sorta, maybe. The game's gonna
God.
teach us all about it over the course of this episode. And we're gonna meet another new character, and like I said in the outro of the last one, I really like this character. Specifically because I know a lot of other people are just going to be like, oh god, I hate this character. So let's get stuck straight in.
God. Start open with a cucko.
Remember the last episode ended with a twilight scene of the same area, so we've just had another time transition.
No. I'm just having Legend of Zelda flashbacks.
So we're still on the hunt for Yui Shousetsu, but we've at least learned a little bit more as to who this individual is and how we might get a chance to figure out where the hell they are. Yeah, Saber's a
This is the
little
most
concerned.
thoughtful we've seen Saber in a while.
Yeah, well, we've got some people who clearly look like they're kind of getting mind controlled. In fact, they're getting mind controlled so hard that when you knock them down, they get back up again. It's a little worrying.
And you're never gonna keep them down.
And we'll keep hitting them until they stay down with fists.
I actually am, Saber. I actually am. I'm proud of you.
This smug little gremlin.
幕府が何かがわかるのだな。てっきり知らないものと。
Just the best faces.
I mean, a little. Because you came to this conclusion, but you have no idea what you mean. Yeah, okay, thank you. That's exactly what I was thinking.
So those things you sort of like... Even I first tripped up on when I was learning about Japan's history. It's like, oh yeah, they have an imperial family, so I guess, you know, the shogun must be related to that, and then you look into it and you're like, oh. And then you get to the points in history where it's like, okay, so the shogunate sort of controlling the imperial family, but then there would be times in the history when the the shogunate was being controlled by other people. It's just like,
right,
just a lot of cycles of like the power base weakening, and then somebody else try to insinuate themselves into it. And the Tokugawa shogunate did everything they could to try and ensure that didn't happen, and you know, they managed to get away with it for a very long time.
The Tokugawa shogunate did a very good job of staying in the center of Japanese power for a very long time. Honestly, like a lot of what they did is masterclass level, like covering your bases.
Covering your bases, covering your ass.
Yeah.
And, but even then, you know, like, as every shogunate before it went, it eventually went, and, and what happened afterwards probably wasn't much better, for being honest, historically, but, you know, no one had any idea everything was going to get that crazy and horrible. They just went, oh, let's learn from everybody else in the world. It was like, oh no, everybody else is horrible right now, don't learn from them, and then they learned from them and became horrible.
Yeah.
And also we kind of have to learn from everybody because holy shit, that's a really big ship, and oh my god, those are really big guns.
Yeah, the turnaround between that and them beating up the Russian Navy.
Little bit of a whiplash, yeah.
Oh.
For those at home, I'm referring to Commodore Perry, and Robokai is talking about like the relatively short time between the opening of Japan because of Commodore Perry and then the Russo-Japanese War.
Yeah, things went escalated very, very quickly. But yeah, Yori's not entirely sure Yui Shousetsu is the one behind this mind controlling stuff, because just if that was the case, wouldn't they have been better to deploy when they were trying to kill Iori in the first place? But instead we had ninjas and Rider, so that kind of makes it seem like, unless they got this resource more recently, it just doesn't really seem like Yui Shousetsu has that sort of tool in their belt. Plus, they don't really look like a mage that's capable of mind control, and Rider doesn't look like a servant famous for mind control.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go out on a limb and say that at least Rider is probably not in possession of that particular trick.
Yeah, you're looking at stuff that's perhaps more in the realm of like a proper mage or somebody with a caster as a servant.
Right.
Though there are a few other individuals who may have sorts of mind-controlling tricks too. But we're coming into our plan here to see if we can sort of see if the Tokugawa shogunate is actually aligned with anybody or an active participant itself in the Waxing Moon ritual, because they would know something was up if a bundle of magical energy such as Saber walked into a region of theirs. They would be like, oh, hold on a second here. And of course, also, as they were pointing out while they were talking as well, there's no guarantee that it's every single part of the shogunate that could be aware of it. It could just be one of the arms that's responsible for a certain factor of it.
He's subverted a particular agency or something like that.
Yeah. There's like, I think was it you who last time mentioned that there was just like there were different levels of the shogunate's like forces that you just didn't want to bump into in your day-to-day because some of them were just like, I'm gonna stab you, while other ones were just like, no, I'm too busy to stab you.
Yeah, like there were that was kind of a side effect of what I was talking about with regard to the Tokugawa shogunate more or less absorbing a lot of these disaffected ronin as clerks and minor officials, because a number of these ronin were chilling out Okay, let me start over because I just lost my train of thought trying to pay attention to two things at once. Some ronin still wanted to own their own little fiefdom inside of the Tokugawa shogunate. So they would have their own retainers, and some of them just were in a really bad mood all the time.
Now it's time for a ley line battle. Yeah, we set everything up last night. That was the entire sort of setup for it. And so now we're gonna get activated and get fighting.
君はあれだな。まじないを本文にするのはやめた方がいいな。かもしれん。
You're just mad you got scolded earlier, Saber.
Here we go. I just wanted to see if it was possible to do anything else at this point, but no, we gotta go straight into the battle.
しかし霊地、霊脈をかように用いるとは、当世の術は面白いな。
そういうものか。さて、あとは周辺の小霊地を抑えて。
敵の気配があるぞ。上のとやらの方角か。
Yeah, so we got multiple things to deal with. Typically in a front battle. As you probably can tell, we can only move along the paths that are open before us, along the ley lines themselves. A big part of this is going to be we're going to be jumping across the different fonts, greater and lesser ones, in order to activate them. And every single time we take one, we get powered up a little. And if we open up the workshop and do more work in the workshop, we can unlock more stuff in regards as well. Oh, and just so everybody knows, this will be abstracted from here on. They're just sort of showing what connecting to the ley line looks like. From here on in, we will just move to the place, and we'll move to the place. We don't have to actually do that every single time. You can imagine some people would get very, very sick of that very, very quickly.
I mean, it does look like that is a animation that would otherwise be playing a lot.
And so here's the big wrinkle. There is a time limit on our Spirit Font adventures, and if you go over your time limit, you out. The good news is there are ways to stretch it out so that you aren't, you aren't going to lose.
Alright, so yeah, this is just basically a pretty straightforward head-on collision.
Yeah. The entire thing about the Spirit Fonts is that their layout and their appearance, and like the idea of you moving your turn, enemy having their turn, is kind of based off of Fate Grand Order, the mobile game's Grail Font Wars. So it's kind of funny that we now are calling this like the Waxing Moon Font battles, or at least that's how I see them. And the timer up in the top left corner is you get more bonuses if you fight these particular battles quickly and win. There's another way to get the full bonus as well. It involves a little clever trickery though, but we'll show that off in due course because they'll teach us about that too. But as we are right now, we're not really strong enough.
30 seconds to finish this boy off seems like a pretty tight trick.
Entirely doable. I completely forget that he has that attack. If you attack the Ogre Warrior from behind, he will turn around and then eye laser you, which is great. And here's an example of the teamwork stuff. So basically just random.
That. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. So that's one of the ways you can sort of get away with it.
Yeah, particularly as Saber and Iori start getting more used to one another and start doing that more often.
Yeah, as your affinity goes up. So as it is, if I'd probably used my affinity techniques a lot more, I reckon we probably would have come under the time limit.
You only needed an extra 10 seconds tops.
Yeah, so I probably should have been a bit more freewheeling with that sort of thing. But we got it. Enemy is defeated.
Oh, okay, so you intercepted their forces and that's it, they're just done. You don't need to handle their base.
Later on, the enemies will have bases that will constantly spawn enemies. But
okay.
Until that time, this is just the tutorial. As you can see, the enemy's off to capture a few things themselves.
Okay, and you don't necessarily need to get all the way over to Ueno.
Yeah, our first goal is to head to Sudabashi, and then we're gonna head to Ueno after that. And because Sudabashi is a is a major font, we'll also get you get 2 extra turns out of capturing a major font.
Oh, okay.
And one other thing that's probably worth noting is if there is a node that is basically surrounded by connected nodes, the game will just connect that node up as well, because it's essentially the flow is moving through it naturally, as you saw we did with on the right hand there. We went round one way, and because one of them was surrounded, it just got captured automatically.
Right.
See, this is another thing that's kind of cool about this, is because a lot of main story stuff is involved with these not Grail Front, but these font battles, and you will still go into areas and do story stuff. And so every time you collect one of those little nodes along the way, you're basically buffing your MAT stat. And once you start getting the ones that also buff other stats, they remain on you while you go into these areas while you're doing stuff.
See, so
it tells you're being strengthened by the telluric energy, so you can actually go into some fights that'll come up later way stronger than you would be normally. So it's always pretty good to plan your movements very carefully when you're doing these font battles. And also, yeah, the game starts us on the bridge, but the game will not complain if we double back and start bothering things and talking to cows.
I mean, if the game complains about you petting dogs ever, I'm out. Like, it's just at a certain point we have completely forgot, like lost the thread.
Kagamaru just doing his thing. Can't pet the cows, unfortunately.
I mean, honestly, having owned cows a couple of times, that might be for your benefit rather than the cows, because there are a couple of cows that were in the herd I own. Were definitely 1-ton puppies. Like you started petting them, and they'd like tilt their head into your hand. They were clearly enjoying it, and so on and so forth. And then if you stopped before they were done and started to walk away, they would follow after you, and they'd come up right beside you. They wouldn't like butt you or anything like that, but they would come up beside you and then you know, nudge you with their head. However, that's still a 1-ton animal. That's quite a hit. They just the damn things did not know their own size and strength.
Yeah, something's going on over here.
Yeah, that's definitely the explanation there,
Well, and you don't know there's weird mind control magic going on. How are you supposed to be able to explain this shit? It's very clear the government officials are not happy with whatever's going on over there, and no one's allowed to come through.
I hope it's nothing violent. Then why are you standing there gawking? You're definitely disaster gawking the same as anybody else, lady.
It was violent.
It was definitely violent. Those are corpses.
I want to see the dead body!
Hey kid, you want to see a dead body?
近頃人情沙汰があったみたいでね、お改めとかで通るべからずだってさ。
参ったな。この先に用があるのだが。
そりゃ災難だね。明日あたり出直しちゃどうだい。
どうしたものか。引き返すか。
義が関わっているやもしれん。屋敷への抜け道を。
Yeah, or he's stuck at a little thing like the main route being blocked, get in the way of his adventures.
Everybody go to bed at 10 a.m.
So it seems like guards were killed. Perhaps someone tried to invade a, because again, this is kind of a nice place around here. It seems like a lot of mansions here. At least Saber's alright.
I was gonna say, like, sweet sugar water, that feels like a little bit too common for you, Sebe. And then he was like, no, also there's Dango. I'm like, okay, great.
I buy when I'm here just because there's
Yam
like one
soup. Ooh, that sounds. Let the ends justify. Yes, the like the ends of turning sideways. The means of turning sideways, rather.
Well, I think he means like sneaking through areas he's not supposed to be in, justify his need to determine what's going on.
Yeah, whatever.
Well, you know, it all works out because look, there are evil things happening.
All of a sudden, Saber is interested.
Yeah, that's Firebird, very strong spell.
Those cats seem to be going down a lot easier than the ones in the last episode.
And it could be to a degree because we're being strengthened with the telluric energy as well. I forget if MAT counts for damaging things like monsters and stuff like that.
I don't have the slightest concept of what stats influence what in this game.
Yeah, so we don't want to go that way. There's dudes there. Some dude guarding the way. We want to keep sneaking in, and luckily there's still plenty of sneaking avenues. Once we're done scooping up our priceless items.
She's just teleporting around.
Hey, look, if you get away with it, it saves you a lot of trouble.
なあより屋根の上を行けばよいのではないか
夜ならあるいはな
Yeah.
目立つ盗っ人扱いで
The logical response to that. Also, Saber's not wrong. It does sound like a really fun idea.
And Yori's like, well, we could probably do it at night, but not right now, sorry.
Iori always ruining things with his facts and his logic.
Alright, all yours, Saber.
Okay, nice knowing you, Phantom Ogre Warrior. You are definitely ripping piss.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Now, we're getting tracked on all sorts of things, so, like, the amount of enemies we kill with Valor Strikes, the amount of Valor Strikes, like, we do, like, Saber killing enemies, jumping and killing enemies, killing enemies in stances, so, we got a lot to, we got a lot of things to mix up. You know, at least if we want to, reap the benefits of
limited edition cat to pet.
Yes, indeed. We could always come here, but in later visits. In fact, we will need to because there's a few food stalls we can't access right now. But you'd have to like go creeping through all this other space. And, you know, that's a little annoying. Can't go this way, can we? Oh, that's where we came from. Now, what we need to do is we need to approach the Delwa.
裏から勘抜きがかかっている別の道を探すか
何をほうけている解く中に入るぞ
この門は内から施錠されている
Repeating himself when he already said it to himself.
なんだそうかでは開けてこよう
Easy to forget though, we have someone who ignores walls and doors.
Yeah, she's gonna just phase through.
We can very easily lift any size door stop.
It's like God knows how much William would have killed for someone like Saber and Neo. Oh, now you're just pouty that something worked out easily for once. Don't pick up habits from Saber.
He's very set in his ways and stubborn in his own way. Like he and Saber are both very stubborn. So like he's very quick to accept things, but he's also very slow to adapt if it doesn't involve learning how to hit someone with a sword better. Here's a good Saber petting a cat shot.
Feels like that could be the thumbnail for this entire video. Just Saber petting a cat forever.
Always looking for the best shots for the thumbnails. Unfortunately, I have already decided what the thumbnail for this one's going to be. It's going to be cursed.
Yeah.
Cursed thumbnails are basically your entire thing in the first place, so sure, that makes sense.
Right, well, let's just think about what I'm going to. Okay, that's
how
fine.
How can you just murder as many people as possible right out of the gate?
Just gotta hit him with the biggest fire spell. You know, well, we gotta take out some people with magic as well. It's very important. Up you get, buddy. And protect me while you're at it.
Right.
So it's just like all these stats just like flying through the air. These tasks being tracked.
Do you frickin' mind?
Looks really good when that happens, though.
It does.
No, haven't had nearly enough clashes in this game up to this point.
Oh, here you go. And there it goes. I like to believe that all of these other just like mooks that are mind controlled and just go down and stay down, like they're mind controlled, but the thing that really defines them is how little work they want to do. Just like, okay, yes, I get it. You're in my head. I have to do this. So I'll give what looks like an honest effort, and then I'm just gonna go down and stay down. I'm going back to sleep.
You can control what I do, but the minute that control lapses, I'm not doing anything.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, how'd I end up here on the dirt? Oh well, takes nap. I can respect that kind of laziness. Somebody's manipulating you, and you do the absolute bare minimum to acquit your quote-unquote responsibility and then go back to your life. Like minimum effort for some asshole who's manipulating you. That is true heroism.
Oh, oi! Kiden wa?
Not one of the like 50 people I just killed? Oh, okay.
This guy's just trying to do his job.
Oh, so
and you've made his life easier by accident.
Of what you were heavily hinting at earlier, that the mind control isn't really Yui Shousetsu's doing, because why would the mind control be trying to force their way into the residence of one of his students?
Yeah, something has happened here, and they're trying to deal with it.
ありゃあ、一昨日の早朝だったが、屋敷の外がやけに騒がしいから、なんだと思って出てみたらよ。旗本とその家人やらが10人近く、道のそこかしこにやられて転がってたんだ。一部始終を覗き見てたやつ曰く、下手人はなんだか古めかしい鎧武者だって話さ。
古めかしい鎧武者。
I was sitting here trying to remember if that's how Ryder was depicted, because frankly, it's been a couple episodes since we've seen it.
And that is not how Ryder is depicted.
Right.
筋切りの仕業ってことで、この話はおしまいになった。はずだったんだ。
Tsuchigiri this time is interesting
Yeah,
to
at this
mention.
time, in this specific area. Can I see it? No.
But yes, if the shogunate is in on the waxing moon ritual, they would likely not want everyone to know about it and would likely just come up with a more convenient excuse of this guy got a new sword and wanted to test it, so he killed a retainer of the shogunate and like 10 of his boys, and that's still quite...
Yeah, that's definitely reasonable.
It's a lot easier to explain than the alternative.
I don't know, actually, simply because at least the other, like, trying to explain the truth of the waxing moon ritual will bury someone in so many words that they'll be sorry they asked in the first place. All of this other stuff is just like, that doesn't make any sense, that's stupid, and you're stupid for trying to tell me that.
One thing for sure is that you can't argue with the fact that there are a lot of dead bodies lying out in the open for everyone to have to deal with.
More corpses.
More corpses.
あんたら小説先生に用があんのか?
But really, the shogunate could make up whatever excuse they wanted and enforce it violently, and everyone would just have to deal with it.
Yeah, that was very much the situation.
小説殿の講ずる軍学に強い関心を抱いていてな。
Look at Iori getting in on the line.
にご指導を賜りたいと思っていた。
Good story, though.
No, he's quick on his
肝
feet.
心の塾の場所が分からずじまいでな。いかにしてお目通り願ったものかと頭を抱えていたのだが。
なんだ、それなら話は早いや。もちろん知ってるぞ。
Bluff check passed. Good work, Iori.
先生の塾はstronghold堂つってな。
Yeah, guys are relieved he like his life is, you know, he won't lose his job and his master won't lose his life. He's just like, yeah, I'll ignore the fact that you weirdly just sort of come out of nowhere and beaten a whole bunch of people up.
I mean, yeah, like the student is over here pointing out his the circumstance bonus that he's getting, but you know, whatever.
お、こっちこそありがとうな。
Right then. We now know
Coolsies.
where we need to go, but we still want to, stop off. And yeah, as you can see, it talks about how your stats get temporarily improved as you're capturing fonts.
文学塾があるとは噂に聞いたが、まさか由井小説の塾だったとは。
なんだ、超行動までは知っていたのか。
There is a little tiny bit of we really should have thought of that sooner, but they have a reasonable explanation in every case.
Yeah, like how many military academies and sword schools are there in Edo at this point? Like freaking dozens, like actual dozens, if not hundreds.
しかし、
So, like I'm giving Iori a pass
さ
on
れた
this
な
one.。
神田はここからすぐだが。
さあ行くぞ、より。いよいよユイに一泡吹かせてやろう。
いや、まずは上野へ行っておく。セイバーが言ったんだろう。上野で挑発だ。
ああ、言ったな。
And Saber's like, oh, you were actually listening?
根拠を掴んだ今、ユイを落とせば幕府の動きは止まるだろうに。
どうかな。幕府が小説の側に立っているとすれば、一部であってもその力はあまりに大きい。
You better to get a read on exactly how much of a problem you're dealing with, because if you just swan up to the gates of your enemy unprepared, you'll end up like they almost did in Yoshiwara.
That was also sort of a lesson of the battle of and the battles around Sekigahara.
ならば、特上野へ向かうぞ、より。
Yeah, so let's go. Let's go to Ueno. We've still got this guy running around.
上野へ行く前に叩きたいが。より、どうした？
I mean, I'm actually with Saber on
移
this
動
one.
橋の魔力、これまでとは比べ物にならんな。
Yeah, so just basically saying this is a major font.
Right.
So-
Oh, right.
奨励地の掌握などたやすく進むであろう。
Extends the time limit. Okay. Actually gave you like 5 turns.
Yeah,
That's
sorry, I got a
substantial
little
number of
confused on the extra turns thing there. No, we get 5 turns.
我らの背後を狙う。
Here's another fun thing we can do.
霊地を分断されれば魔力を失う。
That's a face.
先に打ち果たしてやろう。
峰打ちだぞ。殺すな。
まあ待て、あれを見
Here's the fun tactical mechanic of this mode, though. You don't necessarily have to confront the enemy in a head-on fight. You can rob them of their telluric energy, and they will lose the will to fight, they will lose their protection, and they will exit the fight.
魔力を得
Oh, so if you break the chain and that entire unit is just sort of like, all right, show's over, I'm tired.
Yeah, and you get
sure.
bonuses akin to if you beat them by overcoming their time limit. The game essentially
Really?
rewards you for fighting smarter.
I'm a big fan of that.
This game is a lot kinder to the player than
Like,
many
that
other
is-
games would be.
That is real. I'm
See,
a big fan of that.
he's out, and we get all these bonuses.
Get destroyed, nerds.
Yeah, and now we own the whole map. Well, we will in a moment.
わしの思った通りよ。奴らはリーチの魔力を用いておったのじゃ。
That's kind of the whole thing where like if you ghost past a whole bunch of soldiers in like Deus Ex or whatever, it should give you experience as though you KO'd all of them,
体勢を立て
rather than if you want to have XP from all of that stuff, you have to go and KO. Specifically KO because KO gives you more experience, and then walk forward.
So we're gonna go
So.
and we're going to pick up all of that stuff.
Sure. I mean, you've got time now, huh?
Yeah, we'll have even more time once we take the that font as well, because
Saber's face just grinning smugly.
yep, you get the bonuses basically whenever you hit the major fonts.
この辺りは賑わっているな。 あの茶屋、妙な売り物があるぞ。
妙だからなんだというのだろう。
いいな。
I'm reminded of a particular manga I enjoy reading about the wonderful absurdities of tea in the Sengoku period.
It is also very true that we kind of live in a golden age of tea in the year 2020X.
Yeah.
If it's a vice of mine, I really love tea. Like, I can tell you about tea. I won't, but if you have ever liked tea, I encourage you to just spend an afternoon at a tea vana or something like that. Don't buy anything because everything there is almost 3 times more expensive than it should be. But just talk to people about tea. We live in a golden age of tea.
But what about the aesthetics of the tea ceremony?
Oh,
tea
man.
Containers.
What can I tell you about that? What I'll say for the purposes of this Let's Play is that there is a reason why if you are passingly familiar with some manga or whatever that invokes some more traditional norms, you'll probably be aware that there is a tea ceremony club in a lot of high schools. There's a reason why there's an entire club that you spend an hour or two a day on tea ceremony, because Japanese tea ceremony is this giant cultural institution that has existed and continued to build relevance and tradition for it's like 1,000 years at least. And it's a really beautiful thing. It's wonderful. You owe it to yourself to at least spend a Saturday or Sunday reading up on things and really paying attention to it if you're at all interested in either teas or ceremonies. One of the two.
But yes, the manga I'm quite fond of is Hyogemono. I definitely recommend it to people. Hyouggemono. It's pretty fantastic. It's about a man who essentially works his way through the Sengoku period, trying to find himself, and arrives on the decision that he will be a man of comedy and tea.
Comedy and tea have more in common than you think.
All set upon the backdrop of the, Nobunaga all the way to Tokugawa, and all the things that happen in between, and all the people that influence him, and the way he influences others. It's a fascinating story. I really quite enjoy it. The main character also wins a duel by farting.
I mean, we just had in the last episode a man who earned his dinner by farting. So,
yeah.
like that basically scans to me.
Oh, big fox in front of the temple gates. Okay. That always bodes well, doesn't it?
Foxes are so cool. Like a lot of the reason why they ended up as like a symbol of good luck and mythology is because they're so clever and they're so cool, and I can't blame them. There's a family of foxes that visits my backyard every now and then, and they're always fun to see.
Apparently someone's having a nap out somewhere.
お嬢ちゃん、本当にそこで寝るつもりかい？だったらうちにおいで、止めてあげるから。いやいや、うちに。うちなら美味しい飯もたらふく食わせてやれるぜ。
一体何の騒ぎだ？
It begins.
It begins.
硬い地面などでなく、我が家でお休みを。
お気持ちは嬉しいけれど、心配なさらないで。
私はここで寝て家宝を待ちたいのです。
家宝？
ほら、家宝は寝て待てと申しますでしょ。私探しているものがあって、けれど私には寝床がありませんから。
Holy crap, she might as well be throwing up a neon sign that says I am lying, but you know, whatever.
If you slid her eyes just slightly further apart, you'd also have a face that says I am brain damaged.
Yeah. A little bit.
けれど、そうやすやすと手に入るものではありませんの。
いや、待ってくれ。さすがに勘違いも甚だしいだろう。家宝は寝て待てとは、寝ていれば幸運が勝手に転がり込んでくるという意味ではない。
Correct. It's a proverb that's extolling the value of patience.
おい
I swear to Christ.
でしたの。私の勘違いだったなんて。
Fucking Iori's facial expressions throughout this are so good.
Yeah, like he's genuinely not sure what to make of this. He's just like, is she too dumb or am I too smart? I don't think it's the latter.
とっても凛々しいお侍様。一つお
My
聞き
God,
しても
every door in the universe hates how you hold your sword, lady.
今は連れを待たせて
Just as well she sleeps outside.
寂しいことをおっしゃらないで。大丈夫。すぐに済みますから。私ね、この町で
Just you articulating your fucking question takes more than a moment.
美しいものを探していますの。
She talks the way treacle comes out of a tipped can.
Molasses and oh dear God! That's of course this is when Saber decides to return.
この気配はおそらく。
Well, at least she gets it.
おい、より。
First glance.
その目は知らなかった。
It's like even besides even if you couldn't sense magical energy, she has wiggling cat ears and a tail.
Yeah, for
Sorry,
real
fox
though.
ears and a tail.
何事だ。
みんな逃げろ。お侍様がバケモノを引き連れてきやがった。
はあ、化け物だって。
何バカなこと言って。
Cuteness fanatic. That was quite a name.
Yeah, she was just here to take a look at the cute fox
予想
girl.
が当たったと見える。そこのものは襲ってこないならまあいい。行くぞより。セイバー。
Oh, don't yell at her. She's got it right.
Yeah, he's just wants Saber to not run off for 5
Yeah.
seconds.
He's kind of a control freak, and I get it. Look at Saber and tell me you don't need some manner of control.
うまく誘い込めたな。しかし連中のうつろな様は
以前とまるで同じだ。つまりはこれもユイの差し金か。
I doubt it,
用
Saber.
いて再び襲い来るとは。ユイと幕府、よほど我らが目に触るようだな。
Yeah, I'm still not convinced.
So does Iori.
行くぞより。奴らに目に物見せてやろう。
Alright, well, time to beat up some more shogunate soldiers, I guess.
出番だ。
There are like, you know, some link strike kills we need to do for the you know, quests for them. So, you know, keep it on the bar and using it for that reason.
揺るがぬ血のごとく。奥の手。
I was gonna say that looks like a very good situation for Firebird.
last time I played this game, Water Stance, like, I got, like, most of what I needed for that straight away, but this time it's actually, Earth Stance that's been doing the heavy lifting for me this time.
As it, I'm gonna be honest with you. I just see you killing MFers, and I can't really like. I don't understand the game's mechanics quite enough to be able to tell when you're in danger and when you're not.
I'm in no danger whatsoever at any time.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Like you look like you're just bloody invincible all of the damn time.
Well, I probably could stand be playing on a high difficulty, but for the you know showing things off,
right?
doing what I'm
like
doing.
it's not actually that important.
お待ちになって。ようやく捕まえましたわ。素敵なお侍様。
The adjective she used there was.
Do you have any guesses? Do you have any guesses as to who this servant might be?
Not offhand.
This one is actually impossible to get if you don't know your Fate lore.
I'm just like this is weird. Like the word
this servant is a deep cut reference.
The word she used for dreamy there is like mythical or heavenly, which was a very interesting word to use. Okay, so she's a rider.
Mm-hmm. You know, we saw there was that other fox around there,
right?
But her general preference is actually to be carried by people, and that makes her a rider.
God.
That's actual lore.
Saber's just trying to normalize not knowing servants' names.
なんてひどい方々なのでしょう。ねえ、いおり様。ここは私の力をお使いくださいまし。
Yeah. Ryder's not a fighter, but she can buff the shit out of you, so that you do much more damage against enemies.
二人で力を合わせ。
So eventually we will be able to get her help, and you just call her in to buff you up like that, and all of Rogue Rider's level up stuff relates to increasing those sorts of buffs on you, so you can get.
Yeah, I could think of way worse ways to help out. So you know what? Yeah. Like Sleepy Fox Girl is already in my good books.
She's not sleepy. She's just weird.
Oh, she's acting sleepy.
There we go. We can hand in so much stuff.
これはダメじゃな。魔力の残滓をたどろうにも肝心要の術者が
Whoever's doing this stuff
ほとんどの
must be a
Good
really
at
good
covering
mage.
their tracks. That's for damn sure.
Once again, it's hard to suspect that it's a Yui Shousetsu doing this.
していく程度には手だれの術者であるとは分かったが。
Of course, Saber uses literally the same turn of phrase that I used.
歯がゆいな。
But yes, the major thing is we still don't know if the person who's involved in this is an ally with Yui Shousetsu, or if we've just randomly been stepping on their toes as they've been trying to find Yui Shousetsu.
感謝するライダー。
そんなの必要ありませんわ。私は私のために戦っ
It's outstanding looking at her in-game model versus her 2D portrait. Exactly how much more moronic she looks on the 2D portrait.
私のことは
Tamamo Aria.
You're fucking joking.
Tamamo Aria is a reference from one of the Fate Extra RPG games, of which there are two. I believe she's in the second one, which is Triple C. And she is one of Tamamo no Mei's shed tails.
Right. I was gonna say like is this like a reference to Tamamo no Mei?
Yes.
That was exactly where I was going with this.
She shed 8 of her 9 tails in order to lose weight, and the tails became alter egos of herself, angry with the main Tamamo.
Weight. Did
in
I
order
hear
to
that
lose weight. I can't. This is one of those deep cut weird references, and she you know, for the time being, before Arya appeared, Fate Grand Order had the only other member of the group, Tamamo Cat. I will not explain Tamamo Cat, not yet. Tamamo
sure
Arya is denoted,
at this point anyway.
but they all seek revenge against Tamamo no Mae in their own way by proving to be better at relationships than she is. And so Tamamo Arya, her entire thing is she's the weird one.
Okay, sure.
Which I'm considering. There's one literally just called Tamamo Cat, who is a berserker. That's a lot of,
And Iori's
a lot of
just
heavy
like,
lifting.
straight out, I have no idea what you're talking about. Alright, cool, great.
Yep. Little does he realize that it's these responses that she's actually after. She has been searching for basically someone like him. She's been looking for someone who has Japanese protagonist brain.
Wow, that was the most polite way she could have possibly phrased that.
He's like, okay, I think. Oh god. Have I made a mistake? Am I in danger?
He's right to feel weird about that, because like the specific form of friend that she used had the O honorific in front of it, and the verb that she used had no fewer than two different formal honorifics after it. She used 3 honorifics at absolute minimum. I might have missed more.
She's just... we're like literally like an inch from marriage.
Oh, good girl, Saber. This is too much.
まあいい。なんだ。いずれ頼りにすることもあるかもしれない。その時は力を貸してほしい。ライダー。
もう、日和様ったら、アリアですわ。次はちゃんと、そう呼んでくださいましね。
運があるな、より。ユイの手がかりは得られなかったが、はぐれの友を得られたのは喜ぶべきだぞ。まったく。
All of a sudden, Saber actually says something serious and relevant.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, even if, you know, she's bound to this location and can't move away from it for very long, she can give us information about what's going on around here.
魔力がずいぶん減ったな、より。
すまん。一旦長屋に戻るとしよう。
Yeah, so that's us done for the day, and because we took Ueno, we took those other 2 locations, and we've seized the entire map.
全て掌握したか。よくやったよくやった。
It's ideal, but not necessary to do this, and it's mostly for what we're about to do now.
なんだ。
Nanda indeed.
Basically, all this energy setup, it has a starting point. It'd be very easy to trace back to. So for those who don't actually know where our headquarters is, it puts a big bullseye on us from all directions.
なるほど。道理だな。
So we can't permanently draw on them. But we do still get a permanent bonus from having grabbed them. Not a
Nice,
huge one,
okay.
but still a bonus. And those bonuses will go up as we unlock more stuff in the workshop, I believe.
やるな。
これでよい。リーチから得られたものも。
So yeah, that's the spirit font conflicts. They're actually, I think, really, really good. I wasn't so sure about them when I first started doing it, but once I sort of got the hang of it.
Yeah, that's an interesting mechanic.
Yeah.
Well,
I wouldn't mind seeing it in more games of that sort of stripe. But what's really kind of interesting about it is that like it doesn't get in the way of the story. It's a part of the story. It's well blended in, and as we go on, there's going to be more layers added onto it for what the enemy can do and what we can do, and none of it feels bad. All of it makes it a lot more interesting, turns it a bit more into a puzzle, but it's actually quite fun. So next time we head back to Asakusa, and we get to meet another rogue servant. And I hope everybody's ready, because next time on the Let's Play Fate Samurai Remnant, we meet Boss.
Boss.
I've been the Last Robokai.
And I'm wondering if he means Boss Barreau.
No, I don't. I wish. I thought you were gonna think that, actually. It's like, no, it's not a Mazinger Z reference. It's actually a completely different reference to a completely different obscure thing that I only found out about because somebody else showed me a Wikipedia link. So we'll see you all next time.